Hello and welcome. We're so glad you've decided to join us for this special English learning session. My name is Sarah.
And I'm David. It's wonderful to have you here with us. Tonight, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to help you learn English in the most relaxed way possible.
That's right. The title of our podcast today is Learn English While Sleeping. Now, you might be thinking, is that really possible? Can you actually learn a language while you are asleep?
And the answer is well, it's a beautiful idea. While you sleep, your brain is very busy. It's organizing memories and information from the day. It's a time of rest, but also a time of processing.
So, the idea is that by listening to simple, calm English as you fall asleep, you can help your brain become more familiar with the sounds, the rhythm, and the vocabulary of the language. You are not studying, you are just absorbing.
Exactly. It's a gentle way to learn. There is no pressure, no tests. All you have to do is listen. You can close your eyes, get comfortable in your bed, and just let our voices and the story wash over you.
Today, we have a wonderful story for you. It's what we call a graded reader. This means the story uses simple words and basic sentences perfect for beginners. The story is called The Lost Crown.
It's a classic tale about a beautiful princess, a brave young man, and a great challenge. We will tell the story slowly and we will repeat important words. Your only job is to relax and listen.
So, find a comfortable position, take a deep breath in, and let it out. Let go of the stress of the day. Let your mind become quiet. Are you ready?
Let's begin our story.
Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there was a beautiful kingdom. This kingdom was a happy place. The sun always seemed to shine a little brighter there. The fields were green, and the rivers were clear and sparkling. The air was fresh and clean.
In this happy kingdom, there lived a good and wise king. The king was loved by all of his people. He was kind and fair. He always thought about the happiness of the people in his kingdom. He ruled with a gentle hand and a warm heart.
The king had a daughter. Her name was Princess Isabella. Princess Isabella was as beautiful as a summer morning. Her hair was the color of pure sunshine, and her eyes were as blue as the deepest part of the sky on a clear day.
But her real beauty was her kind heart. She was gentle and sweet to everyone she met. She loved animals and she loved to walk in the magnificent palace gardens, talking to the little birds and smelling the fragrant flowers. Every person in the kingdom, from the nobles to the farmers, adored her.
The king loved his daughter very much. She was his only child, his greatest treasure. He wanted her to be happy, more than anything else in the entire world. As Princess Isabella grew older, becoming a graceful young woman, the king started to think about her future.
He thought to himself, "My daughter is a wonderful young woman. It is time for her to marry. She needs a good husband, a man who will love her and help her rule the kingdom with the same kindness that we have always shown our people."
The king wanted the very best man for his daughter. He wanted a man who was not just rich or handsome, but a man who was truly brave, completely honest, and most importantly of all, kind in his soul.
But there was a problem in the kingdom, a very big problem that worried the king every day. Many years ago, something very important was lost. The great crown of the kingdom had disappeared. It had vanished without a trace.
This was not just any crown. It was not just a piece of jewelry. It was a magical crown, made of the purest gold and decorated with shining jewels that seemed to hold the light of the stars.
It was said that this special crown protected the kingdom. It brought good fortune and prosperity to its people. It kept the harvest plentiful and the people safe.
Without the crown, the kingdom was still a happy place, but the king worried. He felt that the kingdom was not complete. He felt that its magic was not as strong as it once was. Finding the crown was his greatest and most secret wish.
So the wise king had an idea. It was a brilliant idea, a clever plan that could solve both of his problems at the same time. He could find a wonderful husband for his daughter and find the lost crown of the kingdom.
He made a royal proclamation. A proclamation is a very important announcement from a king or a queen. The king's messengers, dressed in royal colors, traveled all over the land. They went to every town and every small village.
The announcement said, hear ye, listen to the words of your king. The man who can find the great lost crown of our kingdom will win a great prize. He will have the honor of marrying the beautiful and kind Princess Isabella.
When the people heard this, there was great excitement in the kingdom and in all the lands around it. The news traveled over tall mountains and across wide seas. The chance to marry the lovely Princess Isabella was a dream for many, many men.
Soon, princes from all over the world began to arrive at the castle. They came from land in the north, south, east, and west. The castle was filled with hopeful and ambitious young men.
First, there was Prince Ferdinand from the north. He was very tall and incredibly strong. His muscles were like stone. He arrived and said in a loud voice, "I am the strongest prince in the world. I will find the crown easily. It is no challenge for me."
He went on a search. He looked for 1 week. He lifted heavy rocks with his bare hands and fought imaginary monsters in the forest. But he did not find the crown. He was very strong, but he was not very clever. He returned to the castle with empty hands and a disappointed face.
Next came Prince Leopold from the east. He was very, very rich. He arrived in a golden carriage that was pulled by 6 beautiful white horses. He brought many expensive gifts for the king, including chests filled with gold and jewels.
He said with a confident smile, "I am the richest prince in the world. I will buy the best maps and hire the best men. I will pay any price to find the crown. Money can solve any problem."
He spent a lot of money. A huge amount of money. He bought ancient maps and paid hundreds of soldiers to search for him. They searched for a whole month, but they did not find the crown. He was very rich, but he was not wise. He also returned to the castle with nothing to show for his efforts.
Many other princes came to the castle. There was a handsome prince from the south who thought his good looks would charm the crown into appearing. There was a clever prince from the west who tried to solve the mystery with books and logic.
They all tried. They all searched the entire kingdom. They looked in old, forgotten castles. They looked in deep, cold lakes. They looked in dark, mysterious forests where the sun did not shine.
But none of them could find the lost crown. After many months of searching, all the princes gave up. They went back to their own lands feeling defeated. And the good king began to lose hope. He started to think that the crown was lost forever.
But the story does not end here. Because in a small, quiet village at the very edge of the kingdom, there lived a young man. His name was Thomas.
Thomas was not a prince. He did not have a grand castle or fine silken clothes. He lived in a small, simple house with his loving mother. He was not famous. He was not strong like Prince Ferdinand or rich like Prince Leopold.
But he had something much more important. He had a good and kind heart. He was always helping his neighbors. If an old woman needed help carrying wood, Thomas would help. If a family was hungry, he shared the little food he had with them.
He was gentle with animals and respectful to his elders. He worked hard every day as a woodcutter, but he never complained. He was happy with his simple life.
Thomas heard the news about the lost crown and the princess. He thought Princess Isabella was a wonderful person. He had heard many stories about her kindness to the people and to animals. He did not dream of marrying her because he thought, "I am just a simple man. A princess is not for me." But he thought about the kingdom. He thought about the good king and his sadness. He thought, the king is sad without the crown. The kingdom needs its magic. Maybe, maybe I can try to find it. Not for the prize, not to marry the princess, but to help my kingdom and my king.
He knew it was a difficult, almost impossible challenge. All the strong, rich, and powerful princes had failed. What could he, a simple village man, possibly do? But his good heart told him that it was the right thing to try. He had to try.
So, Thomas, the kind young man from the village, made a brave decision. He decided he would go on a quest to find the lost crown. He went to his mother and told her about his plan.
His mother was a wise woman. She looked at her son with love in her eyes. She was worried, of course. It was a dangerous journey. She said, "Thomas, my dear son, this is a noble thing you want to do, but it is a great challenge. The strongest and richest men in the world have failed."
Thomas replied gently, "I know, Mother. I am not strong like them. I am not rich like them. But I have my hope, and I have my courage. I must do this for our kingdom. I feel it is my duty."
His mother saw the determination in his eyes. She knew his heart was pure. So she nodded slowly and said, "Then you must go. But you cannot go with empty hands." She went into their small kitchen and prepared a simple bag for him.
She did not have much to give. She packed some fresh bread, a piece of cheese, and a flask of clean water. It was a humble meal for a long journey.
Then she gave him her most precious possession, a small, simple wooden flute.
Thomas looked at the flute. It was the flute his father had made for him many years ago, before he passed away. Thomas knew how to play it beautifully. He could make music that sounded like the singing of birds or the whispering of the wind.
"Your music has always brought joy to our village," his mother said. "It can calm a crying child and make an old man smile. Perhaps it will be of some help to you on your journey. It is a piece of our home that you can carry with you."
Thomas took the flute and held it carefully. He felt the love of his mother and the memory of his father in the smooth wood. He promised his mother he would be careful, and he hugged her goodbye.
And so, with a small bag of food, a simple wooden flute, and a heart full of hope, Thomas began his journey. He did not have a map. He did not have a horse. He started his quest with the only thing he had, his own 2 feet.
He decided to start his search in the Whispering Woods. It was a very old and very large forest near his village. People said the forest was enchanted. They said that the trees could whisper secrets to those who knew how to listen.
The princes had searched the Whispering Woods. They had come with their soldiers and their loud horns. They had cut down trees and scared all the animals away. They had searched with force and with noise, but they had found nothing.
Thomas entered the forest differently. He walked quietly. He did not break any branches. He stepped carefully over the roots of the ancient trees. He listened to the sounds of the forest, the gentle rustle of the leaves, the soft chirping of the birds.
He walked for many hours. The sun was high in the sky, but under the thick leaves of the trees, it was cool and shady. He felt a sense of peace in the quiet woods. He did not feel like he was searching for a treasure. He felt like he was visiting an old friend.
As the day went on, he started to feel a little hungry. He found a small clearing, a place where the sunlight came down and touched the forest floor. He sat down on a soft patch of moss and opened his bag.
As he was about to eat his bread, he saw a small movement nearby. A tiny brown squirrel was watching him from a tree branch. The squirrel was shy at first. It waited for a moment, but it saw the kindness in Thomas's eyes. It quickly ran down the tree, grabbed the piece of bread, and ran back up to its branch, chattering happily.
Thomas felt a warmth in his heart. He ate his simple meal and drank some water. After he finished, he felt tired. He decided to rest for a little while. He lay back against the trunk of a large oak tree, and he took out his wooden flute.
He began to play. He did not play a loud, grand song like the princes might have played. He played a soft, gentle melody. The music flowed through the forest like a little stream. It was a song of peace and respect for the old woods.
As he played, something wonderful began to happen. The forest, which was already quiet, became even stiller. It was as if all the creatures of the woods were listening to his beautiful music.
A deer with gentle eyes stepped out from behind some bushes. A family of rabbits came out of their burrow and sat listening. Birds of all colors flew down from the high branches and landed on the trees around him. Even the little squirrel he had fed came back down and sat near his feet. None of the animals were afraid. They felt the kindness in his music. They understood that this man was not a threat. He was a friend.
Thomas played for a long time. He played until the sun began to set, and the light in the forest turned to a soft gold. When he finally finished his song, the forest was silent for a moment. Then, all the animals slowly and quietly returned to their homes.
All except one. An old, wise owl with large, round eyes remained on a branch above him. The owl looked directly at Thomas. It did not fly away. It just watched him.
Thomas felt a strange connection with the owl. He felt that the owl wanted to tell him something. He stood up and bowed his head respectfully to the wise old bird. "Thank you for listening to my music, old friend," he said softly.
The owl hooted once, a low and gentle sound. Then it spread its great silent wings and flew from the branch. But it did not fly away. It flew a short distance into the forest and landed on another tree. It looked back at Thomas as if to say, "Follow me."
Thomas understood. His heart beat a little faster. He felt that this was a sign. This was the beginning of his real journey. He packed his bag, put his flute safely away, and began to follow the wise owl.
The owl led him deeper and deeper into the whispering woods. It flew from tree to tree, always waiting for Thomas to catch up. They went to a part of the forest where Thomas had never been before. The trees here were even older and larger. The air grew cooler, the path was difficult to see, but Thomas trusted the owl. He knew that the princes, with all their maps and soldiers, had never seen this part of the forest. They had been too loud, too impatient. They had not earned the forest's trust.
Finally, after what felt like another hour of walking, the owl landed on a low branch next to a wall of solid rock. It was a cliff, covered with moss and ivy. It looked like a dead end. There was nowhere else to go.
The owl hooted softly again, and then, with a final look at Thomas, it flew up into the night sky and disappeared. Thomas was alone. He stood in front of the tall rock wall, feeling a little confused.
"Why did you bring me here, wise friend?" he whispered to the empty air. He looked at the rock wall. It was dark, and he could not see very well. He reached out and touched the cold, damp stone.
As his fingers moved across the surface, he felt something strange. Behind the thick leaves of the ivy, the rock was not smooth. There were lines, carvings. He gently pushed the ivy aside.
His eyes opened wide in amazement. In the faint moonlight, he could see that the rock was not a natural wall. It was a door, a huge, ancient door made of stone so cleverly hidden that no one would ever find it by accident.
And in the center of the stone door, there was a carving. It was a picture of a crown. He knew in that moment that he was in the right place. The owl had shown him a great secret.
Thomas stood before the great stone door, his heart filled with a mix of fear and wonder. He remembered the stories of the strong princes. He placed his hands on the door and pushed with all his strength, but it did not move, not even a little. It was too heavy, too ancient.
He knew that force was not the answer. He then thought about the rich Prince Leopold, who believed money could solve any problem. But money could not open this door. Thomas understood that the secret to this door
was not about power or wealth. It was something different.
He looked at the beautiful carving of the crown on the stone. He thought about his journey into the forest. He thought about the animals and the wise old owl. They had helped him because he was kind to them. They had trusted him. In that moment, he knew what he had to do.
He reached into his bag and took out his simple wooden flute. He brought it to his lips, closed his eyes, and thought of his home, his mother, and his deep love for the kingdom. He began to play a soft, beautiful melody. The music was not for a performance. It was filled with his kindness and his pure heart.
As the gentle notes of the flute touched the ancient stone, something magical happened. A soft, warm light began to glow from the carving of the crown. The light grew brighter and brighter, pulsing gently with the music. And then, with a low, quiet rumble, the giant stone door began to open all by itself.
Thomas stopped playing, his eyes wide with awe and disbelief. The door opened to reveal a small, dark cave. He took a deep breath to calm his beating heart, and, with careful steps, he walked inside.
The cave was not empty. In the very center of the small chamber, standing on a pedestal of smooth black stone, was the lost crown. It was more beautiful than any story had ever described. It shone with its own gentle, magical light, filling the entire cave with a warm and welcoming glow.
It was made of gold that looked like captured sunlight. The jewels on it sparkled with all the colors of the rainbow, deep reds, bright blues, and vibrant greens. Thomas could feel the magic and goodness coming from it. He knew this was the true crown of the kingdom.
He walked forward slowly and respectfully. He did not rush. He reached into his bag and took out his simple wooden flute. He brought it to his lips, closed his eyes, and thought of his home, his mother, and his deep love for the kingdom. He began to play a soft, beautiful melody. The music was not for a performance. It was filled with his kindness and his pure heart.
When the king turned from the window and stared at the crown, his eyes filled with tears of pure joy. He stood up from his throne and walked towards Thomas. He took the crown in his trembling hands and saw that it was real. The magic was real. The hope was real.
"How?" the king whispered, looking at the simple, humble young man before him. "How did you find it when all the great princes of the world could not?" Thomas told him the whole story. He spoke of his journey into the whispering woods. He told the king about sharing his small piece of bread with the hungry squirrel and playing his simple flute for the animals. He explained how the wise owl had trusted him and shown him the secret door.
The king listened to every single word. When Thomas finished his story, the king smiled, a wide, happy smile. He placed a hand on Thomas's shoulder. They tried to find the crown with strength and with money, but you found it with kindness. You have proven that a good heart is the greatest treasure of all.
The king then turned to his court and announced in a loud, joyful voice, "This young man, Thomas, is the true hero of our kingdom. He has brought back our magic and our hope. He has earned the prize. He shall marry my daughter, the Princess Isabella."
Princess Isabella had been watching quietly from the side of the room. She had seen everything. She was not interested in the strong princes or the rich princes, but she saw the goodness in Thomas. She saw his gentle and humble spirit.
The king introduced them. Thomas was very shy, but when he looked at Princess Isabella,
He saw the same kindness in her eyes that he felt in his own heart, and she saw the very same in him.
They were married in a great celebration that lasted for 7 days. The entire kingdom celebrated with them. Thomas, the simple woodcutter with the kind heart, became a prince. The lost crown was placed back in its rightful place, and the kingdom became more prosperous and joyful than ever before.
And Thomas and Isabella ruled for many, many years, always with kindness, fairness, and a deep love for their people. They lived, as all good stories end, happily ever after.
And now, our story is over. We hope you enjoyed the tale of the lost crown. It is a story that reminds us that kindness is a special and powerful kind of magic.
As you continue to drift off to sleep, let the simple words and the calm story stay with you. Let your mind relax completely. There is no need to study, just rest.
Your brain will continue to absorb the sounds of English in a gentle, easy way. We wish you a peaceful night's sleep filled with wonderful and happy dreams.
Good night and sweet dreams.